The Sandy and Toddcast is a Mind Garden Media podcast in association with
Screw You, Todd
Productions. And it's another episode of The Sandy and Toddcast.
Hi, Todd.
How are you doing?
Good. It is going to be so much fun. We are going to spotlight two of our four intuitive tarot card readers today on this episode, Eric and Victoria. We
love them so much, and hopefully if you haven't met them before, you're going to love them when all is said and done. Stand by. Season 2, Episode 5 is on the way next. Tarot 101, Part 1. Hold on.
What, you beautiful souls. I'm so excited to have this platform where I can share my gifts, the things that I do, what we need to do as a collective energy to really step into soul's path. Reiki and healing and alignment. Oh my goodness, these are all so very important in what we do. I have a daily podcast that I do. You can find me on Spotify and Anchor for your daily vibes, your energies as a collective unit, right? You can also find me on my Facebook page where I really go more in depth with it, but you can find me at Mystic Karma by Victoria.
Tarot time. If you're listening to this podcast, the divine messages are definitely for you. Let's combine science and magic, shall we? Root cause analysis, business planning, counseling, and good old-fashioned intuitive tarot readings so we can improve your near future circumstances by addressing your present scenarios. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. For more in-depth tarot consultations, please book your readings at positivetarotwisdom.com. Infinite love and blessings for everyone.
Broadcasting from two very different yet magical places not found on any map. Get ready to discuss the strange, weird, ghostly, crazy, spooky, and odd things that take place around us each and every day. All while having a little bit of fun. This is the Sandy and Toddcast.
This is it, Season 2, Episode 5 of the Sandy and Toddcast. Hey, Sandy.
Hey, Todd. This is going to be a really fun episode.
We are really lucky because when we started doing the live casts and the video and all that kind of stuff, and the podcast evolved, all of a sudden we were able to kind of wrap our arms around a bunch of people who some of us, we kind of knew, we kind of didn't know. Mm-hmm. We knew that they had talents. Right. And all of a sudden we've got this, it's kind of like a soul tribe of people that we're working with now. There's just incredible people. And so to be able to take a moment and kind of spotlight on them and the podcast really feels good.
I love it. I love surrounding myself with good, kind people with good souls. And Victoria and Eric, boy, do they have some great souls.
Eric and Victoria are both, they're card readers, but they're intuitives, obviously. And the thing about them is, both great people, both wonderful, love and light kind of people, but so different. We were just talking about that before we started recording.
So different and so talented and willing to put up with us breaking their chops too, which is so much fun. They're very much like us and they kind of play the straight man to us and it's a lot of fun.
I'm really glad that I'm glad that all of our tarot readers and intuitives allow us to have a little bit of fun. I was kind of worried about that. I thought they might take offense to it, but Eric and Victoria and Sudi and Zeke all have been very good about how we treat them. So
I'm laughing because I'm thinking back to all of our live casts where they have been a part of Tarot Tuesday, Woo Woo Wednesday, which, by the way, you can find right on our Facebook page, the Sandy and Toddcast. And they're just so much fun to talk to, and they're so insightful. And I love that. And they love pulling cards for people. They love helping people. Isn't that a great thing?
So on today's episode, we get to know Eric and we get to know Victoria. Season 2, Episode 5, Tarot 101, Part 1 on this week's Sandy and Toddcast. I think it's time we bring Eric on.
Let's do it. I'm
Eric
so excited.
Ferdinand Backlit is, I guess I would consider him a friend. And I say that because I don't even know how we met. it was on Facebook somehow, but I don't remember how we met. But he's read tarot for me on a couple of occasions, and we've done some healing practices as well. So let's bring Eric on. There he is. Look at him sitting there. Oh, he's got his clothes on tonight. So
I know
that's
he's
very
wearing
nice.
clothes. We're already ahead of the game.
I have a
Hi,
feeling.
Eric.
I have a feeling if we ever played strip poker, Eric would lose. That's
I know.
just the way I
It's
feel.
It'll be too advanced, yes. But,
Hi, Bree.
How you doing tonight, Eric?
long day at work, but you know what? I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me
you.
over.
I'm so excited. We're just so
much
excited
positive
to have
energy.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, and I wanted to bring that up right away because one of the things that I thought was interesting about, and I want to go back in time and talk about your childhood and kind of where you are with your journey in life, and then with tarot. But positive tarot wisdom is kind of like your brand on everything. And the one thing that I really appreciate about what you do is you really try to make that experience, that tarot experience, positive. And sometimes it's not. I mean, sometimes when you get readings and stuff like that, it's not a positive situation. You try to make it positive.
There's always that positive spin. I mean, the logic behind positive tarot wisdom is, to give you a very, very small background, is I lived 40 years in the Philippines. I was born and raised there, moved in the US, now in New York City. So the thing is, I'm Roman Catholic, and tarot is definitely not allowed.
I was wondering about that. How does that marry together? How does that work?
The first objective that I have for positive tarot wisdom is to at least educate everyone that tarot is not evil. It is a tool, but I cannot deny the fact that evil people can use it for evil ways. It's the truth. So like literally you can use tarot. I haven't witnessed it, but there are people who can use tarot to curse other people. And I'd rather not be one of those people. I'd rather be a light worker. My methodology for tarot is, every time I do a reading for you, is we try and manifest your wishes, your desires, and I end it with a blessing. So everything light, everything positive, that's a positive twist to it. I'd like to educate everyone. I'd like to make it a positive experience. And going back to my childhood, I've always been interested in tarot. But there's always that fear of being condemned by the Catholic faith, and you are going to burn, and you're donezo. Seriously, once you do tarot. But anything, I have nothing against religion. It raised me into a very good person, but we were talking about childhood, and let's rewind a bit. It wasn't the best childhood per se. We were kind of talking about it before we went live. Right. And it's about being bullied. Everybody has that experience. Well, not everybody. There's always a bully and there's always the bullied. So raise your hand if you're the bullied. I'm one of those people. Thank you. You guys are part of the club.
What a great club to be a part of. Yeah, right.
We are not victims. We are survivors.
That's true.
There's a huge difference. Did it make me a better person? Yes, a better, stronger person. And I really think if those things didn't happen in the past, I wouldn't be this type of person that actually, honestly, you would like, Todd. I mean, we're friends. We met through Facebook. I think you saw me doing one of my lives with my friend, and you were drawn and we started talking.
I've actually said this to him, Sandy. I'm like, how can you stay so positive all the time? Because I get so angry at life. I wish I could shoot fire out of my hands and get rid of people, you know? And Eric's like, oh no, everything's going to be good, you know, namaste or whatever. And but how do you stay so positive when you do come from that background? You have felt those feelings. You have been made to feel that way. How do you stay positive as an adult, even like in today's world, because everything is so volatile?
You set the tone on a daily basis. When you wake up until you sleep, you set the tone. You control your life. There may be a lot of factors that, hit you on a daily basis, but always look at the good possibilities. I mean, let me give you a perfect example. First time I've met you, Sandy. The first thing that I'm actually looking to learn from you is, what are her good qualities? That's the first thing that's in my head. So you're 100%. I trust you right now, 100%, but do not give me a reason not to trust you.
Right.
That's it.
No, and
Because
then,
then he's going to shoot fire out of his hands.
Oh, I'm just going to turn into Dark Phoenix and like burn you. That's it. You're done.
yep, Karen agrees too. I mean, it's true. I believe me, there have been, especially in the past year, a lot of ups and downs for me, a lot of struggles, a lot of pivoting. That seems to be a big word these days, pivoting. But and they're not all good days, but they are what you make them. And, if somebody is being not so nice, I find a way to make a positive out of that situation whenever I can. It's sort of, Todd has told me before that he thinks I'm a light worker, where I think it's just trying to find the positive in everything. Somewhere there's a positive. For every, bad thing, there's a good thing to try and offset it. If you can find it.
It's actually, if you're going to mix science with metaphysics,
Mm-hmm.
actually it's Einstein who literally said you can find opportunities in any difficulty.
Yes.
It's his word. He's a scientist. So think about that.
Isn't
any
that
situation.
It's something. And that's how, you try to live your life. That's how I try to live my life. It's never going to be all roses, but you can make it what you want it to be. Maybe it may not be 100% what you want, but it's going to be close because you're in charge.
I still want to be able to shoot fire from my hands. I'm going to be honest.
You're not
about that.
alone.
Incredible talent.
Boom.
It's an incredible talent.
What made you come to America? So, most of your life, a good part of it was in the Philippines. What made you come to America?
That's a very good story.
And so far, what is your, so far, how is it going for you?
Okay. So, I'm almost 5 years here. And the thing is, I wasn't supposed to live here. I had a life in the Philippines. I had someone in the Philippines. Then, typical story, break up. I go, okay, I'm done with this country. I'm a move here. I need a new life. And I was the last family member who's kind of resistant in migrating here with my family. Everyone else is here except myself. And I go, you know what? I have a life here. I'm okay.
Right.
But then that solid heartbreak totally it was God's sign telling me, hey, you know what? You got to move. You got to grow. You got to do something else. I have a mission. I think my mission is done in the Philippines. Now I have a mission here. I get to help more people. Honestly, I've helped a lot of people, and I've helped improve depression, improve anxiety from my friends, and simply being, I know it sounds cheesy, a beacon of hope for people has been very good. And I've been complimented as someone as soothing whenever you have a conversation with me. It's not hypnosis, but instead it's the character that you're looking for from people that's very rare. There's just so many toxic people all over. Yeah. And how's it going so far? I did retail. Okay, let me give you an example. I did retail.
Oh, he did
that
retail.
Is my solid example.
There we go.
Yeah. See? That's my solid example. I'm telling you, if you haven't done retail in this country, seriously, you have no right to be part of customer service. Seriously.
Well, and if you've not done retail, you have no right being a customer because you need to experience that side of things. You need to know what it feels like to be crapped on, to be honest.
It's another club. We've all been in retail.
That's right.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
There was even a time when I was assisting, I'm not going to mention ethnicities, assisting someone, then wrapping up her. This was an elderly lady. It's probably in her early 60s. So she purchased a phone. We were arguing about why does she need a SIM card for a phone to function. I explained it very carefully. But then at some point when I was wrapping up her stuff, she started hating me and saying, you know what? My race is more superior than your race. And I go, wow.
Ouch.
Really? I go, really? Wow, that blacked her out.
She's done with you.
That's too much. But yes,
that's
one of my hugest experiences in retail. Mm-hmm.
So you now I'm going to give blacker out altogether. Tell me about getting into tarot. What made you decide to move in that direction? You were raised Roman Catholic, so that's in your background. You said you were kind of worried about what people would think about that. What made you go to reading tarot?
It helps deal with the subconscious. The way I understood tarot, based on my journey, is tarot is all about life. It's the whole cycle of life. It's a journey. And by using the Golden Dawn system, Rider-Waite-Smith, the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, it helped me understand people more. I mean, even if you're a total stranger, it becomes a conversation piece. And I'm able to extract it from you based on how, our conversation goes. I mean, it's not about me asking a million questions and just writing along your answers. No, it's about clairvoyance. It's about, as much as I hate to admit it, it's enhancing my psychic abilities. It is the truth. I have to embrace that, and being a healer. So what attracted me to tarot is that being a very good subconscious tool, then using that tool to help other people. That's the biggest purpose so far.
What's the difference between tarot and, say, oracle cards and all that stuff? Is there something that ties them together, or is it very, very different?
Tarot is, it's very old, since the 1400s. Oracle, welcome back.
I don't know what happened. That was weird. Okay. Then it wouldn't read my camera.
Yeah, well, you're back. That's what matters.
There we go.
Back.
Thank you.
Todd was asking about the difference between tarot and oracle and maybe Lenormand. Tarot is very old, since it's been around since the 1400s. And it was a game. It was taroki. It was not something used for divination, just like now. Oracle is also used for divination, but it's more fluid. Tarot has a system, though. Like, there are definitions per card. There's a basis for how the Golden Dawn formulated their, I think, best term is science. And as much as I hate to admit it, it is magical. My methodology is I have 78 cards. I make you choose the numbers. That's my way of having an online conversation with you. Out of those 78 cards, and I draw the cards, and magically enough, they are very relevant to your life. That's what it is. So Oracle, I have nothing bad to say about Oracle. It's more fluid, but honestly, Tarot is very old, and it has a methodology behind it. Oracle, it's free-flowing, very visual, and it depends on the reader too. That's how it is.
Gotcha.
So, and why don't you go ahead and ask your question now, as long as we're at this point in the conversation, because we had something interesting happen the other day.
So, Eric, I play around with tarot once in a while. I did years ago, and then I didn't for a long time, and I just started to pick it up again. And I'm really at the very beginning of it. And Todd and I are very, very connected with each other on a lot of different levels. And yes, we are. And so every once in a while, I'll pull a card for him, and I'll pull a card for me. And last week, I pulled a card for myself.
Okay.
And I set my intention, I just wanted to know where we are now and where I am now and where it might go. And I pulled the Two of Wands, the upright Two of Wands. And so then when I shuffle the cards, I just do everything crazy because I don't want I really want them mixed up.
Because she is crazy.
Thank you. Thanks. I love you too. And so I literally, though, will take them and I will toss them in sections. I'm just so weird. But anyways, I got them all together and I shuffled them really well. And I set the same intention to pull a card for Todd. Okay. And lo and behold, up comes the Two of Wands upright again. So we both got the same card. And number one, could you give us your interpretation of what the Two of Wands upright is? And second of all, is that something that's unusual for us? And we are very connected with each other, but is that something that would be unusual for us both to get the same card?
Not really. There are a lot of occasions when, say, two people, well, I had clients before, then I go, wow, surprisingly, both the sun showed up for both of you. So
Mm-hmm.
the Two of Wands would indicate future planning, progress, discovery, decisions. So you guys pretty much are having this experience of making major decisions in the future. But it's more of like great type of decisions that you go, okay, I'm about to, just a fictitious example, I'm about to choose a new career.
Mm-hmm.
Say, so that's why the Two of Wands are there. Literally, you are in a situation or a fork in the road saying, okay, this is a good choice and this is also a good choice.
Right.
But being wands, those are fire signs. So they can pertain to Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. It can pertain to a person in your life, a common person in your life with that fire sign. Or it can also pertain to a situation. So tarot can pertain to situations, people, even things that are about to happen. Honestly, I've experienced that too. So when did you pull the card? When did you pull the Two of Wands?
It was last week, I believe it was. I can't
Last
remember
week,
which
okay.
day, but it was last week. And Todd and I had discussed having you on. So I said, I'm going to ask Eric because I thought it was very interesting because Todd and I actually are sort of on a, will you stop? I can see him out of the
into your
corner
little
of
life story.
No, we actually have a lot of different ventures that we are starting to go into together with a future goal in mind. And so I thought it was kind of interesting that we would both get the same card. And especially given what it represents. So I just thought that was really interesting that I pulled the same card for both of us, you know?
A few images just popped into my head right now. Sorry, this is my method. Just when you talk and people have discussions with me, images, as in a million images, just rush into my head. And two can be a symbol of partnership too. It's about growing your podcast further. There's a specific individual that would help grow this podcast. I might be an instrument into, finding that person and, having a major individual that would grow your channel further.
Right.
That might be a possibility. What if I end up having a celebrity contact and I go, boom, you guys get to interview that person, and that would propel your channel and have like a gazillion followers the next day.
Well, don't dangle it in front of us.
Yeah, I know. Don't unless you got to pay up now. No.
Here's the thing. So it's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. It can be a person that's a fire sign. I was thinking a Leo. I was thinking a Leo maybe. And Leos are very charismatic, very popular. They're so into themselves. So it's the truth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I never asked you, Sandy. What's your sign?
I'm an Aquarius. As is
Air
Todd.
sign.
We're
Both
only
of
about.
You guys are air signs.
We're about a week apart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
He's older than me, though.
The things
He's
that we
older
have in
than me.
common are almost sick. I mean, it's ridiculous, and I can't even talk about it because it makes me sick to my stomach.
You need that card is literally telling you that you need someone who's different from the both of you to make your channel grow.
Sandy, you're fired. You're out of here.
You're done.
Didn't you just call me the boss earlier?
Well, I got to tell you this. This is a great story. So we're getting ready for the podcast, and Sandy sends me this picture, and she's like, I want you to put that up when I bring up this story to Eric. Okay. So I'm like, okay, boss, whatever you say. And then she sends this to me.
The rock.
Yes. That's
know
right.
your role and shut your mouth.
I knew you were going to use that somehow.
That is totally her. Totally her. Hey, we had a question from Darcy. She actually asked, how do I learn and how do I get involved with tarot cards? What would you say to her?
Good question, Darcy.
Well, you can start with my page and my group. You can join the group. It's easy. I mean, I give, honestly, if you can check out, say, my YouTube channel, I explain every single card. And I'm almost done with all of the cards, all 78 of them. But if you have specific questions for each card, I'd be more than happy to give you references. And I am honestly planning to have someday a tarot university so I can teach people and maybe do tarot courses. It's
I love
it's
that.
a long way to go. It's a long way to go. But I want to formulate something that you can learn tarot in less than, say, a year. Like you'd be a master in less than a year.
That's
what I'm
crazy.
thinking.
That's great. I love tarot. I
Are
love
we
tarot.
required to call you professor then at that point,
Yeah.
or can we just forego that?
Well, Eric is okay, so don't worry about that. Unless you want to add my pseudo name. Let's not go there.
Maybe we don't. What does the future hold for Eric? Like, what do you see yourself? And I'm not, necessarily asking you to see into the future, but like, what do you want to be doing? Where do you want to be? How do you want your abilities to take you, on your journey through the rest of your life? What are you seeing?
If I become like the great Walter Mercado, the late great Walter Mercado, why not? But I think I've discussed this with you in the past. I've taken the path to being a healer, and a healer would mean a combination of being a tarot reader and, not just scientifically heal people, but using my own spirit energy to heal people. And as much as I hate to admit it, there's just so many people I've had conversations with that felt so much better, that there's just, okay, Eric, after this conversation, I think I want to rule the world type of thing. And that's my calling. That's the future that I see for myself. Not just stay in one place. I'll continue to evolve, and if given the opportunity, travel the world and help a lot of people, and not just teach tarot, but people realize that it's not such a horrible place to live in, the world.
Very true. Very true.
Okay.
Have you seen, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. Have you seen, say in the last several years, an increase in need for people to get in touch with healing like this and to get direction and feel better about the world around them? It seems like there's so much negativity. There's so much horrible stuff going on. Have you seen that actually, come to you?
I've encountered so many cases wherein mental health issues, and especially mental health issues, have been severe lately because of people focusing on the negative instead of, the positive. It's kind of like the Five of Cups. 3 cups were spilled, and that person is focusing on what he lost versus the one that what he still has, instead of making that what you have left flourish and making your situation happy again. You focus on, okay, the world is ending. I can't do anything anymore. I'm just focusing on the loss. And I agree with you, Todd. There's just a lot of need for mental health and, comforting people when it comes to issues with mental health. And I know you, for being an empath, you have that burden and blessing of experiencing a lot of emotions at the same time. I have the burden and blessing of seeing so many images 1,000,000 times over whenever I have readings. And now that we're live, there's just so many images being sent to my head right now. That's why I had to do some cleansing. And it's an interesting experience. That's what I can tell you. This world needs a lot more people, honestly, like us, who are willing to give their time and energy to make other people feel better. And people would say, oh, that's BS. There's no science behind it. That's the whole point. There's no science behind this. This is something that science cannot understand. We have so much potential to be good and to be better people for other people. That's what positivity is all about. That's what being human is all about. It's not about eliminating other people, but building other people and making them better individuals.
Can you run down some of your information one more time as we throw the banners up there, just so people can contact you if they do want further readings, and we hope that will happen?
Sure. At Facebook, you can always visit facebook.com/Positive Tarot Wisdom. Then you can visit me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. TikTok, there's just a lot of crazy videos there. So Positive Tarot Wisdom. So my pages are pretty easy to detect, but website-wise, it's www.positivetarotwisdom.com.
He has just a very calming presence. Like, you talk with him in any way, even if it's fun talk and you're kind of goofing around, or even if it's serious talk, he just has a very calming presence.
I love Eric. He's one of those people that even if you're a nervous person, if you're nervous to get your cards read, if you're nervous to find things out, he keeps you calm, and he actually gives you so much insight and makes you feel better. Even just his presence makes you feel better.
Yeah. And I've been in situations and I've said to him before, you're always so calm through everything. And I want to like rip people apart and start things on fire. And he just smiles at it because he knows that's my personality. And the other thing is he never looks down on you for having those feelings and those emotions, you know?
No, not at all. He's very kind and understanding. The world needs more people like Eric Ferdinand Backlit. That is for sure, Todd.
Somebody that I also love as much, I've known a little bit longer, is the next guest on our podcast, and that is our intuitive card reader, Victoria from Mystic Karma by Victoria. And she, she's from Texas, so I call her the Texas Tornado, man. That energy is just wild.
Victoria has so much energy, and if you think that Eric is a very calm, soothing kind of personality, Victoria revs you up and gets you going. Two completely different but incredibly talented intuitives who really can help you with your life's direction.
She really tells it like it is, period. So get ready for some of that today. Here's Victoria now on the Sandy and Toddcast. I'm going to introduce right now a very, very close friend of mine. I met her, 3, 4, 5 years ago already at a Taco John's. And
I didn't know that.
I did. And that is the intro I'm going to give her. Will you please welcome Victoria to the broadcast? Hi, Victoria.
Yay! Hi, Victoria.
Hello, lovies. How are we doing? I'm so excited.
We are so excited
What?
to have you. What?
Yeah.
Seriously, we met at a fast food restaurant, and it never stopped after that because I was doing a live broadcast, and
Yes.
she was a manager at the restaurant,
Yes.
and you were a radio natural.
Hi,
Tammy was there too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and we you were just an absolute natural on there. So I knew right away that we were going to be fast friends. I didn't know that we'd work in radio together, and then down the line be doing a podcast with tarot cards. So,
Yeah, right? Who would have thought?
And how long ago was this that you guys met?
God, 4 years ago.
It's got to be about 4. Yeah, closer to 4.
Wow.
4 days ago. But yeah, I was working at the Taco John's out on 45 here, and Tammy actually came in first, and then wanted to get us on the radio.
Yep.
And I thought that was such a awesome idea because I really thought that would be something really good for us. And I had to go through hell to get it approved. But once they approved it, it was a hit. Tammy's like, I'm going to bring in the crew. Let's go in.
And then she freezes up
And then
because she's saying something important. But yeah, we went and we did some live broadcasts. We did some commercials with her.
Calm down and let's just be natural.
Interesting.
Started. You bet.
I will just say this, and this will happen throughout the night, but she was a natural on the radio. And I think that she's the kind of person, and you've met these people, Brittany, in radio, where you can just put them on the air.
Brittany. He called me Brittany.
Same thing. When you put people on the radio, Brittany, Sandy,
Yes.
and you just have a right away a chemistry with them. She's the kind of person that could sit in a studio with you and the chemistry would just be there.
That's awesome. Yay. I love that. I love that. How cool.
Me too.
But your life did not start at Taco John's, and that's where I kind of want to really back up and talk a little bit about your life journey. And it's kind of specifically talking about when you had that feeling that things were not, quote unquote, normal for you.
Well, that really started about 5 years ago when me, you, and Tammy got together. Otherwise, when I was younger, I was scared of the dark. I slept with a nightlight till I was like 13 because I could always see things in the dark. And, my dad was very much one of those energies of go back to bed. It's all in your head kind of thing, right? Yep. And so, we blocked that out. And so till I was about 13, I had a nightlight because I was scared of the dark. And then I've always been into the tarot, spiritual type of energies. And so I would always do that on my own. But it started when I met Todd and Tammy, because I was more free to be able to talk about my experiences.
Yeah.
And then I, a couple of years ago, found out that I had heart disease, which was a huge scare for me. It runs in my dad's side of the family, and most of them passed away at an early age. And so that really scared the shit right out of me, right?
Yep.
So, I started changing the way I ate. I started drinking water. I started to really allow myself this total life change. And it is true that when you stop taking medications, when you stop drinking and allowing your vibrations to really just kind of be low, right?
Yep.
My gifts started coming back, and I was really freaked out because I thought I was crazy. And I would talk to Todd because I knew he was in the paranormal. And we had a mutual friend, Bernie, and I would talk to Todd. It was like I just had this really different kind of energy with him. I just loved him so much. And I called him Mr. Blue Eyes, and all he wanted was a hug out of me every day. When I would walk into the studio, he was the most beautiful soul I had ever met. And he was a cranky old coot, right? But
yes, he was.
Really, wasn't he though? But I just loved that so much about him. But before he had a heart attack and passed away, I messaged Todd and told him, oh my God, I think Bernie's going to have a heart attack and pass. And sure enough, I don't know, Todd, what do you think it was? Like 3 weeks to a month, and it happened?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was about that.
Yeah, it was. And then when that happened, it was one of those things where I'm like, see, this is what I was always scared of. When I was younger, I just didn't realize it because as we're adults, we are eating. I mean, and it is so true. That's why I'm always saying lemon water for detoxing during the moon cycles, fruits and vegetables in your diet. Because we eat so many fatty, greasy foods, and people really don't realize what that does to your body.
Very true.
Right. And then we start putting all these fat, which when we start talking, say, astral traveling, which I'm huge. I talk about this a lot because when we're astral traveling and we're eating lots of heavy meats, it's hard on our body. And it's almost like your body, right? Your body floats out and you get all this information, all these things come through, and it's in your dream realm. And as you're starting to wake up, your body just smashes kind of back into your physical meat suit. And that is why your body is so heavy and so weighted down. And people really don't realize that this stuff is really true. And when I started to, and that's why and for the last 2 years, I always say this in my podcast, for the last 2.5 years, it's been face to floor for me. Because I haven't had a teacher, right? So I made myself a teacher for everybody else who's coming into journey to feel comfortable about these things, to understand that, yes, I wake up and there's people in my room and I see them. Yes, I know what I know because I know it, and I don't give two shits. Son, you can fight with me, you can argue with me, and all I'm going to do is say, good for you, you got it. You don't need my help. And then you're not being truthful to yourself, which then you're not going to have you're not going to listen to what I'm trying to say when I'm trying to validate that your energy is, because we are going through the biggest mass awakening since I've been in this energy. And it's really beautiful to me because now I'm getting younger and younger souls that are coming into me. And they're really starting to understand, but they think they're crazy, right? And so therefore, for me, I'm like, well, I'm going to be the first one to tell you you're not crazy, because here, I've been going through this energy face to floor. Yeah, I've been messing up. I've messed up quite a bit in my journey, not doing it right. I fight with spirit. I'm a Taurus, right? I'm an earth sign. I understand. But that's been my biggest thing, is I never wanted to look crazy. And so when I finally just quit fighting and allowed my guides to really come in, I talk to spirit just like I talk to you, to people I'm giving readings to.
Right.
You know, they pop into my energy. It gives me goosebumps. Then I know somebody's breaking my bubble, as I call it.
Yep.
And, I'll get sparks out of the corner of my eye. It's like, how you blow and here's all these little sprinkles of like glitter. That's what happens out of the profile of my sites. And so learning that I wasn't crazy. It was just that I was allowing my body to heal from all the medications. I was allowing myself to eat healthy. I started drinking more water, and really started taking care of myself, and started to realize that it is all based on vibrations of where we are in our journey. Just like we've got all the people that I call soul tribe, right? We're all in the same vibration, which means you guys all resonate with what I've got to say because we are on the same vibration.
Right.
Now we've got the next set, the younger set of collectives that are starting to come in. And, they're anywhere from 17 to 24. And that's beautiful to me, because here now we've already got into this the healers, the manifestors, we're all on this vibration where now we can pull these beautiful souls into journey and say, look, you're not crazy. This is what I want you to try. Try eating healthy. Try lemon water to detox your body. Stop eating all these fatty, greasy foods. Start eating fish, tuna, chicken, all these things, because then you're going to open your third eye. You're going to open in your crown chakra. And the way I describe it to people is, it's like when someone crashes, does that when you were a kid. It was like that egg.
Yes.
Yes, that is exactly what it feels like when you're opening up in your crown. Your third eye is always the headaches, and it's always in your T-zone.
Yep.
And so, right? And so
True.
then I start to say, well, these are the things that I experienced. These are the things that are going to start happening. And sure enough, when they come back to me after 2 or 3 months, I can totally tell that their vibration is beautiful because they've been doing all these beautiful, healthy things. They've been going on walks. They've been spending more family time together. They've been eating healthy. And so then when they come into me, they're like, oh my God, you were right. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally was.
You know what is so interesting is I remember sitting in my backyard and we were talking about Mystic Karma when you first kind of got into it. And I'm like, people need to be taught. We need teachers, because so many of us are thrown into it and we go, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to understand. What does this mean? What does that mean? And you immediately said, I'll be the teacher. Yep. You said that to me and I went, well, there you go. That's exact. And then the other thing I want to say is to all the young punks coming up through the ranks, get out of my yard. You stay out of my yard, you old people, young people.
Yeah.
It's true, though. I wish I had somebody when I was growing up to help me realize what was really going on. I wish I had somebody to guide me. You know, most of this journey, with the exception of probably, I'd say the last year since Todd and I met, most of my journey has been all by myself. You know, my husband loves me dearly, but he has nothing that he can contribute to this.
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
I'm just
He
checking.
puts up with a lot. Let me tell you, he puts up with a lot. But yeah, so I wish I had someone who had been able to guide me and help me through it.
Well, me too. And that's why when Todd, I mean, and that was the beautiful thing about working with Todd and Tammy. They both understood. I feel things, right? But see, it's so every one of us feel things differently.
Right.
I feel things where it just gives me such anxiety, where I'm always looking around trying to figure out why I have anxiety, why I was triggered. And they are such beautiful souls that they understood that I was a visual learner. You can tell me till you're blue in the face, and I don't give two shits. If I don't see you doing it and it doesn't make sense to me, I could have an instruction manual. It doesn't make sense to me. All I know is what I'm feeling.
Right.
And so that's why I've got like 70 oracles, 150 sets of tarot cards, because for me, the energy hits me different with different people.
Right.
And sometimes that's why when I do my podcast, that's why I do heart chakra energy, because then it helps me to understand where we are individually in our heart chakras. That's why I also do Earth Warriors, which really gives me that grounding energy, because that grounding energy is what pulls me down to earth.
Right.
I use, all different sets of tarot cards, because if I'm feeling very emotional, I use water tarot. If I'm feeling very grounded, I will use my mystic tarot, right? So it just really gives me different energies to be able to visually see it, because then if I see it at the same time I'm feeling the energy, I get a picture, and it's hard to explain. It's like a picture in my head of, those old reels that you have to wind up, and then it with the film.
Yep.
That's how it goes through my crown and my third eye, and that's how I see it.
Right.
And so then then it makes sense, because I visually have it, I'm physically feeling it, and there is a picture in my head, and all three of those together, that's why I cycle in threes. All three of these things together help me to understand what it is that they're going through. And that's why I really don't like to know anything about anybody. I would rather they sat there and waited until I finished my whole thing.
Yep.
Before they say to me, "Oh my God, do you know how accurate you are?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, was I really good or what?"
Right.
What?
Now, let me ask you this, Victoria. With everything going on in the past year with COVID and the pandemic, and I felt some immense shifts over the past year, just all over the place. Are your readings different now because of everything going on? Do you read differently? Do you get different readings than you might normally get?
Yes, I do. Okay. So in order to understand why we're going through this mass awakening, it is because of the COVID, right? Because it's really forced us all to pull our energy back and really stay away from all, and has forced us to spend more family time together, work at home, do all these things, which is why I also offer video reads for those energies where they don't want to come out yet. And even if they're wearing a mask, they still don't feel comfortable. Hey, I'm good with that, man. I will talk to you just like I'm doing this live cast, right?
Right.
So, people that come into me are more prone to feel crazy at this point, lonely, right? Lonely is huge.
Big.
That is the biggest emotion that I've been dealing with, even for myself, because I am such a hugger. I am such a, let's hug this out. I want to give you love, right? I want to hug it out. I want that I want that love too, right? Because when you're hugging somebody, it is the most beautiful experience where you can actually allow them to be free, to be who they are. And most of the time when I hug people, they cry. And so for me, I miss that, because that's that social interaction that we just take for granted, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're in COVID, and now everybody is in this emotional lockdown of heart chakra, which I understand, because I'm the same way. And so I've had to even adjust my energy, but that's why I'm always pulling different cards, because there's days where I wake up and my cards don't do it for me, right? Because I'm in a totally different vibration, because now I've stayed out of all this energy and I've been eating healthy and, you know, all these things, and my cards don't talk to me. And so now I'm kind of going through that energy myself of, man, nothing is filling the void. Why can't I find something that fills the void? So then we got to look beyond. There's times where I don't even need the cards, because shit just happens. And I can just read people's energy. I see their aura. I understand what they're going through even before we'll do a video chat or they come into awakenings to see me. I already know the kind of energies, because I'm already feeling it before they get there, because I always say, Spirit, send me who needs the most healing that I can heal and help somebody move forward in journey, because I'm tired of the people who want to come in, who are looking for validation, but they want to argue with me. And I'm like, okay, see, you're not ready, and I can't do this for you.
Good
right?
for you. Good for you.
Yes.
Right? It is so frustrating, because then I'm like, you're not even being honest with yourself. Therefore, no matter what Spirit tells me, I could have everything right. I could be sitting right here talking to their ancestor and get everything on point, and I know it's on point. And they can look at me and say, well, what does that mean? Or well, no, see, and I'm like, ooh,
Yep.
Nope. Don't come back at me and tell me anything. You take this information, you leave with it. And then in a couple months, when it fucking resonates with you, when you're actually in the right vibration to understand what I'm telling you, then come back and tell me. I had somebody that I worked with over a year ago. And, she's like, no. And I'm like, I'm fine. I know what I know, because I know this, and I don't ever second guess my intuition. If it's not going on now, it is going to go on. So, but then she came back a year after. What a beautiful soul to actually come back and tell me everything that you said to me over a year ago happened in my life. And I wanted to come back and tell you, because I was not in the right place. And so then I looked at her and I was just like, you know what? You're so beautiful. And how thankful I was that even a year ago, I was already in this energy telling her and not second guessing myself and saying, look, I see it in the cards. I feel it. I know it. And I don't know what to tell you besides this is what's happening.
Right.
And then to come back a year later and validate everything that I said was spot on from A to finish was really beautiful, actually, for me, because I'm always looking for that validation too.
Yes.
Because I'm self-taught.
Yep.
All I know is what I know, what I hear, what I see, and what I feel. And I don't ever want to second guess myself, because if I'm second guessing myself, I'm fighting with Spirit, because I'm fighting to get to the truth.
Right.
And so
that's one thing that I'm learning how to do, is not second guess myself. And sometimes all we have is that validation, especially when we're going through the journey by ourselves. That's all we have is that validation. It's so important. It's so important. So
if our viewers and listeners have a question for Victoria, we're not going to do cards quite yet, but if you have a question about her journey, please feel free to throw those in the comments and we'll throw them up. EJ says, I'm an empath and it gets so loud and overwhelming inside my head. Basically, is there a way to put a filter on what you're experiencing? And I know like Sandy has that issue sometimes. I have huge walls that I put up, but mine are up like all the time. Is there a filter that people who are empathic can use in order to kind of keep that stuff at bay?
Well, then that's definitely a Nine of Swords kind of energy where you're in your head. And I call that energy cycling, because then I cycle on it. And I can't, the only thing that I can honestly say helps with being empathic is to be able to get up, light a candle, and put yourself in meditation, because there's a reason why you're cycling on this energy or can't get past it. Either you haven't stepped into the acknowledgement of the truth of what your heart already knows, or you're on your way to this new vibration, this new beginning, this new opening, but you have to be able to see it and be truthful and get ego and heart to work together, that masculine, feminine energy. So I would say it's really hard. Even for me being an empath, I'm always channeling and I can't always get out of my head. And so I have to usually get up and walk the floors, write things down, just to get it out of my head. Because if we're looking at it in black and white, right, that's definitely giving us the vision of, all right, this is why I'm cycling on it. It kind of gets us down to the bottom of where it is. Meditation, that quiet time to really allow yourself to ground and really just free your mind. But writing a lot is very important, especially being an empath, right? So you can ground that energy and really get to the truth of what it is, because then you're fighting within your heart and your head. So there's a lot of fighting going on.
I want to throw this out there. We got to get to some tarot cards here. But I've got a.
Lisa hides in the basement, but at least it has lights now.
Yeah, there you go.
At least it has lights.
EJ says that they do write poetry as well, which is perfect, I think.
Yes.
Tell the story about on 2 occasions you had to come to me with a phone call, or I don't know if you stopped by one time or whatever, but a past family member of mine came to you with messages. Do you remember both those times?
Well, of course I do. You're so cute. So his mom, oh my God, get this, right? So I'm in the shower of all places one day, and his mom came through to me. And it's like the most inconvenient time for a beautiful woman to be standing up in my shower saying, you need to tell Todd this.
Listen, you don't know Geraldine. She's going to say what she's going to say, where she's going to say it.
And she did, because as soon as I got out of the shower, I made that mental note. And I really just kind of talked her through this energy, but I got off and got out of the shower, and then I messaged Todd and said, look, your mom wants you to do this and this and this. And so that was part of one of those energies where he's like, Jesus, what the hell? And the second time his mom came through, she showed me like a image of Todd as a child on it was on this floor, but to me it was like a rug, or he had a blanket with him in front of this old TV set. It had the legs, like I described it all like to him, and I was like, here, Todd, this is what your mom came through, and this is the validation. And he sent me a picture, and he's like, shut up, I just got this picture. And it was exactly the way I seen it.
Wow.
exactly the way she showed it to me. The only thing I didn't mention was the blanket. And then when he showed me the picture, there sure as shit was the blanket.
Wow.
I was like, oh, that's the only thing I didn't say to you was that blanket. But Todd, she wanted him to know that she is very proud of who he is. And
I'm sure she is.
Yes.
Aw, I'm gonna cry now.
Yeah, I really, it was really a beautiful energy. She wanted me to tell Todd she knew who he was, and that he shouldn't have to really work as hard as he does to feel all these feelings, because she's known that he's been special since he was little, and that's why I got that picture and then described it to him. And then it was one of those things where he sent me the picture. He's like, my sister just sent this to me. And it really made me cry, because then I was like, oh my God, see, I'm listening to my intuition. This woman is so powerful, so beautiful, and so strong, that her energy hit me so hard to know, especially to give such a validating, beautiful message to her son, to allow his creative energies to flow and stop allowing people to shit on him. Because he needs to be this, I mean, he's an air sign. You're both air signs, right? So you're both very much a bearer of truth. And that's who you need to be in this lifetime.
Oh, the phone's ringing.
The phone's ringing. I got to take the phone call.
Oh, boy.
Hello?
I'm crying.
Yep. Oh, thank you. Yep. All right. Yep, bye.
Who was that, Todd?
That was my mom. She just said that people have to stop on me.
I thought he was going to say it was God.
I know.
That's for later.
That's for later. Wait, well, there's plenty of time.
I want to get to tarot, but I want to show these two. I've got two pictures I want to show, and I was going to show them before we brought Victoria up. But Victoria, I think you'll appreciate these. So one of the guests that we have on our show a lot is my friend Lisa Hale. And we've talked about the fact that Lisa is a list maker. She makes lists of her lists. Okay. And so today I said, are you going to be tuned in tonight? And so she sent me this today. It was a list of her day, which had the Sandy and Toddcast at 7 p.m. on it.
Yay! I love it.
So she
we made the list. We did make the list.
And then Sandy and I are trying to get some guest spots on some other podcasts so that we can kind of promote what we're doing and all that kind of stuff. So Sandy created this really great post for Twitter. And just basically said, here we are. We do a podcast. We talk about ghosts. We do paranormal investigations. She's Claire Huxtable, whatever. I've got the beard, whatever. And so she put it out there. And so I saw it on my Twitter. And so I retweeted it, but I added a message to it, which was just so smart. So smart. So this is what I posted. I posted, one's hot, the other one's a hot mess.
So what did I say to you when I came in today?
Why am I a hot mess?
What? You got to make me the hot mess?
Yeah.
He goes, how do you know it's you? I said, because you're hot.
and of course, me, being as humble as I am, didn't say a damn thing back. I just took it all in.
Not at all.
Whatever. You could reach out to Victoria on Facebook, search for Mystic Karma Oils, all one word, and you can find her podcast on Anchor and Spotify and other locations as well.
Imagine what a full reading from Victoria, how much that would teach you. And I may come to you for a full reading, Victoria. You really enlightened a lot of us tonight, I think. Hurricane Victoria
Texas tornado right there.
The Texas tornado came sweeping through. She is so much fun. I just adore her.
I'll tell you a quick story. I have not been feeling the best. And last night I reached out to her and I just said, I've got a doctor's appointment. I'm kind of worried about it. Will you just send me some good vibes? She not only did good vibes, but she did a meditation for me. And she got other members of some other people that we're kind of connected with to do some meditation for me. And it was this whole big thing. And that's the kind of people that we have around us. They really care about other people and they will go out of their way to help in any way, shape, or form. And I just love all these people that we're working with right now. It's incredible.
You know, Todd, these people are our tribe. You know, they do so much to help us, and we in turn try to help them in any way that we can. And it's just this wonderful community. You know, we have a great community on Facebook, the Stay Weirdos, Friends of the Sandy and Toddcast. It's our group. We have over 120 members. It's a safe space to go. All of our readers are in there. They're all in there joining in on the conversations and having fun with us. And it's a safe, happy community where you can go and not be judged for your thoughts and feelings and opinions. And I just love it. So I really hope that everybody can join us. The Stay Weirdos, Friends of the Sandy and Toddcast on Facebook. It's our great group.
So this was Tarot 101 Part 1. Next week, Part 2, and we're going to feature two totally different intuitive card readers. Sudi Crouch, which is like your little sister, is basically what she's like.
I love her.
And then Zeke Harris, which is kind of like the naughty witch boy or something like that.
I like that. Naughty witch boy. Zeke will like that too. I'm sure he'll love that. He'll appreciate that. That's next week on the Sandy and Toddcast.
Excellent. Make sure and like us and listen to us on Facebook. If you haven't done so, go back and listen to some of the older episodes. Find out how we started, where we're coming to. And if you've got ideas, there's stories you want to share, you can reach out to us.
We'd love to hear from you. Check out our page on Facebook, the Sandy and Toddcast. You can find all of our live casts there. We'd love to have you come join us live. We do at least 2 to 3 of them every single week. And we also have copies of our audio podcast there as well. You can also find us on any of the platforms where you would normally find your podcasts and right on YouTube.
All right. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
How many more miles